Hi, everybody. I'm Mel Doerr, the Aloha Shirt Psychic. And I've got Linda Grindel in the house, and we're giggling because we just had a laughing contest beforehand. I
I
go,
just I just told you about a show that I was watching last night. Just that it's ridiculous and it's vulgar, but I told him it actually took me a second to realize. Those of you who watch Medea, but Uncle Joe said he had a woman that came home to him and told her she couldn't have sex for 3 months. He said, "What? Well, what did the dentist say?" It took me once, and then I bursted out laughing. The dogs were looking at me like, "What the hell is she laughing at?"
That's funny. Yeah, we had our giggle meters going over here.
Yeah, he got it right away. He got it right away.
Of course. I'm engaged. Auntie Mel caught on.
Auntie Mel caught right on.
All righty.
And then Medea, she worked the polls. She always talking about, I busted my buns. I went out there and worked. I was a stripper and I worked them poles. She said in them days, they didn't have the nice silver or gold ones. I had to use a telephone. What do you call those? What do you call those things? The big wooden ones.
Oh, telephone pole.
A telephone pole. And them sharp things, they would dig into my legs. It wasn't easy. I'm going to tell you right now, it was not easy.
I got to watch it. I love Medea.
Okay.
All righty. So we got a lot going on, huh?
Yeah.
First of all, I think we should probably send some energy to Jimmy Carter.
A 6.3 magnitude just hit Turkey.
Wow.
Like they need that.
Oh wow, yeah, like they really need that right now.
Yeah.
I didn't think Turkey was that volcanically active or in that much of an earthquake zone, but I guess they are.
Yeah, and you know, they had 20,000 people die 15 years ago or so, and now this one's at 48,000. They still haven't got all the bodies out.
At first it said 1,300, and then it just kept rising, and I knew it'd be.
It's at 48 now.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
God bless those people. And apparently these people that built those god-awful buildings after the last earthquake got away with paying people under the table. You know, in China, they had a building that collapsed on its own, no earthquake. And they took that guy, that contractor, out and shot him.
Well, I mean, you know, Turkey didn't have supposedly the earthquake codes we did. If they did, then people obviously weren't building correctly, but I think this is a wake-up call. You know, I don't think any building is 100% earthquake proof.
No, not at all. Yeah.
But still, you can do a lot of stuff, especially in earthquake zones.
Yeah.
But that's just tragic, and it's cold there too. And so, you know, Turkey, I guess, gets really cold.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a lot of snow and things, but anyway.
Didn't that guy from PBS, what's his name? He does the travel. He travels everywhere.
Rick Steves?
Yes, he loved Turkey.
A lot of people like Turkey. I've never been. I'd like to go. They say it's absolutely beautiful.
He said the food was delicious. The camaraderie, everybody was so kind. I remember him talking about Turkey, how much he loved it.
Well, I like Middle Eastern food, so.
Yeah.
And I love Greek
food.
I
like the smell, that smell. It's not curry, it's something else.
No, I don't know what it is, but when you
I know my Afghanistan friends, he had me come over to their little apartment. It was a woman, him, his brother, his wife, and 2 kids in a 2-bedroom apartment. And let me tell you, you could eat off the floors. That place was so clean. Wow. But they would serve rice on a plate with salad, with lettuce, with chicken, and all kinds of spices. Oh my God, it was to die for.
When you come here, I'll have to take you to Mykonos restaurant, the Greek place.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait.
It's hi, everybody at Mykonos. I'm plugging Mykonos. And by the way, I've still got openings on my Italy trip.
Oh, yes, yes. I still haven't got my cutting the boobies off. I still haven't got that.
You got to let me know if you're coming because it's filling up really fast.
Okay.
But then after that, for the following year, I think I'm going to do a Rhine River cruise on a riverboat, not a cruise ship, up the Rhine River. So it starts, and
I think one of my clients said she was on one of your river, and she
Yep.
said it was fabulous.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, people, I want them to have I call them psychic adventure tours because they get to travel with me, but we don't do a lot of psychic stuff. It's just a transformation. People are uptight and then everybody's letting their hair down. There's no judgment.
Yeah.
Everybody's having a good time.
I love it. I love it.
It's aside, who cares? It's just like everybody puts the computers away and it's so much fun.
That's great.
The Rhine River ones, I think we're going to start in, it starts in Switzerland. And then we stop in Strasbourg, France, and we go, and that whole Alsace-Lorraine area is where all the white wines come from, all the Rieslings, and the names of the wines on the side of the mountain. And that whole South Rhine River basin is UNESCO. There's castles on every hillside. It's beautiful. And then, so we'll go, let's see, how's it go? Switzerland, Strasbourg, France, Germany, and then we end up in the Netherlands, and then we come home. So,
Okay.
that's not until 2024 though. But meanwhile, Italy is this year. So yay.
Yeah.
Anyway. So if you look at the link below if you want information. So, and I'm getting back to people. The lady that called people had hip replacement, but she's back now and she helps out. So
that's great.
Yep. All righty, infomercial done.
Okay, let's start with the questions. I got a lot of questions and you do too.
Okay, so you start.
Okay. Now this is LeMans. She says, will MTG's ex-husband ever spill the beans on his ex-wife?
Yes.
That's what I got too. I answered this a while ago, and I feel him kind of like he's getting offers. And he's going to take the best offer and he's going to spill.
Well, she's going to say he's a liar because he's
Oh,
ex and this and that, and yada, yada, yada. But some of the stuff he'll come out with, nobody would ever know unless they had been, I call her the ice queen.
Yeah.
Unless they had been with the ice queen. So
yeah.
There we go. All right. Marilyn Daniel wants to know, is narcissism part of our rebirth plan, or is it free will from trauma and environment in early stages of life? Thank you for some insight from Spirit about this disorder. Well, I feel like that, some of it's genetic, but I feel like that a lot of it can be learned as well. I mean, learning, not knowingly learning it because of environment. Right. So, I do believe that it's both. But I think that we all have within us the ability to choose good or bad. I think it's within all of us.
Yeah.
Some people have more of a moral compass than others. People like Donald Trump don't have a moral compass. That's why they're sociopaths. But I think it's, I think it's a combination of both. That's what I
was watching on MSNBC that thing they were doing on Rudy Giuliani. It's a 4-part series. He's a narcissist.
Total.
And him and Trump were 2 peas in a pod.
Total. And rather sociopathic as well.
Right. But they even were alive in the Roman days.
Correct. Well, of course.
Always been around.
Look at Caligula and Nero and all those. The sociopath or the psychopath has no moral compass. They don't feel guilt, love, or remorse. The only thing they feel is rage when they don't get what they want. They just want power and control. So I put Marjorie Taylor Greene in that class as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You want to go? You want me to?
Yeah. Why did the DOJ announce no filing in the sex trafficking case with Represent Gates? This is Jules.
Jules, because they didn't have enough to go on. I think, they had testimony, but they had to look at their witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
And so one is already a convicted felon for sex trafficking, and a really good defense lawyer could blow that out of the water. I don't think they needed a real smoking gun, but it's not over yet.
No, they're going to get him on some financial thing. But that's what I said too. I said that the witnesses were not, like, even the woman, they're changing their minds, they're changing their stories. They can't use
Not to change the subject, but I think everybody, let's, whenever you get a chance, just send energy to President Jimmy Carter. He's my hero.
Oh, he's so wonderful.
He's a wonderful man.
I got him on the prayers for tomorrow.
I'm not religious, but, for the LGBTQ thing, when everybody was saying all the repubes, oh, it's not, it's against the Bible. And he came forward and said, there's nothing in the scriptures prohibiting LGBTQ marriage. There's nothing about it in the Bible. And so he really,
And that was huge for him. Yeah.
he didn't sit in judgment on anybody.
No, he never has.
And he's got a lot of integrity. And I just, there's a part of me that sounds terrible. Is, why him and not somebody else, not another president?
Well, that's because he's 98 and a half years old. It's his time. He's at peace. Trust me, there's no wailing and crying going on. He's happy to go home, and she'll be following right behind him.
But I think you're right. But let's just, everybody just send him energy that his passing is peaceful.
Yeah, it will be. I wouldn't doubt if the room lights up.
Oh, I'm sure.
He's the one that started the special counsel.
He did a lot.
He came in after Nixon, Ford, and then
was Reagan? No, I'm sorry, it was Jimmy Carter.
Nixon and Ford, and then he beat Ford.
Correct, that's right. No, wait.
Ford only did 4 years.
Right.
He didn't get a second term. And he came in and introduced a special counsel, and that's why you have special counsels now, to keep the president's power in check.
Correct. And he kind of got handed a doo-doo sandwich because, after the Nixon years and the Ford years, inflation was high. And I remember back in the Carter years, they were charging 18% for home loans and things like that. Wow. Then the whole Iran thing, I think that was engineered by the Iranians to get Jimmy Carter out because they wanted Ronald Reagan in.
Why?
For political reasons.
Ronald Reagan, he was already out 3 terms. Why would they want him back?
No. Jimmy Carter was before Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan beat Jimmy Carter.
Correct. But look at what Jimmy Carter did with Israel and Egypt in the Camp David Accords. He brought them to peace.
That's great.
So he was a great man. I'm sorry, I can't put it in the past tense yet, but he is a great man, and he's
a great man. Even though he's on hospice, I feel him hanging in there a little bit.
Yes.
Because my dad was on hospice. I don't know how many times. We got your dad on hospice. Oh, okay. We're there every day. And then guess what? He gets better.
I've seen that before.
What are we doing visiting every day? We should have just, no. Anyway, so go ahead.
So anyway, that's President Carter, but there was a shooting in New Orleans.
Ooh.
Another one, we need gun control. And I hear these people say, well, when guns are outlawed, only bad guys, the only, however they say it, when guns are outlawed, only outlaws have guns. I'm like, nobody's trying to outlaw anybody's guns. We're just trying to simply say they need to limit assault ban weapons. Come on.
No, they're not going to listen. They're not going to listen because of that NRA. Hey, listen, did you see what do you call those pieces of rock from space? A comet?
Meteors?
Meteor or whatever. It hit in Texas.
Wow.
There was a meteor shower last night. And they had their door camera on, and there was sort of a light, and then you could hear boom.
Maybe he's trying to tell Abbott something.
Yeah. It was like, not McKinney, because my cousin lives in McKinney. It was someplace in Texas, and it's on the news. Just look or Google meteor in Texas.
Too bad it didn't hit Abbott's house.
Yeah, but it made a big boom.
Hey, cousin Regina, I just saw on the thread we've got that Biden was in Ukraine. So
this first thing this morning, he's already in Poland.
Thanks, cousin Regina, for sharing that.
I don't know what this is. Okay, there we go.
Anyway.
He's in Poland now. He was there early in the morning. They were walking down Kiev, and you could hear the sirens going off. But apparently, according to the news, the Biden administration notified Putin that he was coming. Why would he do that?
You know what? In my notes, when Regina put that in the thread that we've all got going, I wrote Putin was sending him. I mean, I'm sorry, Biden was sending a message to Putin and to China. That's why.
Huh?
In other words, sending
They
him.
said it was like a slap in the face to Putin.
Oh, of course it was. That's exactly why Biden did it.
Yeah.
And you know what? If I were Biden, I would have done the same thing.
Yep.
So there's a lot of questions that, they're not in my questions for today, but it keeps coming up. People are nervous about China helping Russia. And then they wonder if China does help Russia with what? And will that put the war in favor of Russia then? So it's twofold. Will China help Russia? And if so, will that put the war in favor of Russia?
No.
No, that China
China is actually, they're acting all pissy towards the United States. I can tell you, and I could be wrong because I'm not perfect, but I'm going to tell you something right now. I don't see China pushing it much where they're going to piss off Biden. I mean, we have some economic links to them. They are dying by the millions over there with the COVID, and they can't afford, their economy's going down the toilet. They can't afford a war.
Well, the only reason they're acting pissy toward Biden is because they got caught with those balloons in our airspace.
Yeah, but we do stuff to them too. They're not going to fess up to it. Neither would the United States.
I get that, but still they got caught.
Yeah.
If you don't get caught, but I don't know. If they do help Russia, then I think all of Eastern and Western Europe that support Ukraine, and that's pretty much all of Europe, with the exception of a few countries, will absolutely step in to help Ukraine.
Yeah.
So, all right. Thanks for clearing it up.
Okay. Who's next?
All right. Okay. Carolyn Booker says, why do they allow T. Rump and others to call for the death of our president? Nothing is done to them. If we did that, our feet wouldn't touch the ground. Well, I don't know if they made an active threat. I don't know how that works, but I still like to believe nobody's above the law.
Right.
I don't know.
I like how the Proud Boys are pissed off at Trump and they're going to subpoena him because they're saying they followed instructions from him and he was the president.
Well, right. And there's going to be, now that you said that, my psychic light bulb went off and my guide showed me there's going to be 3 or 4 more people or higher up in the Proud Boys that are going to come forward and testify against Trump. So
it's a beautiful thing.
It certainly is.
Phoenix says, thank you, Linda and Mel. American contractors in Turkey are being targeted for faulty construction after the earthquake. My fiance is a contractor in Turkey. Is he safe and will he be able to leave the country soon?
I don't see any harm coming to him.
I don't see any harm either. I don't think any building he worked on fell.
Yeah, but I
see damage, but I don't see it.
But I understand what she's saying. It's just like American contractors, I'm sure, built a lot of buildings there, and the Turkish are mad because they didn't do it up to code.
Right.
Any American contractor they see, they're going to target, whether or not they built a building or not. But my feeling is he'll get back safely.
Okay, good.
All right. Deanne from Shield Maiden Turo. Hi, Deanne. She goes, hi, Mel and Linda. Always love listening to you both. Okay. And she goes, she's sending big hugs to both of us.
Aw.
All right. Hugs back. I thought that was a question, but it wasn't.
No.
Goes to show you haven't read them yet.
Yeah.
Okay, this is good. TC, will the Supreme Court overturn Bill 230? They vote Tuesday. It's about internet regulation. I don't know. I haven't thought about
Who's doing this vote?
The Supreme Court. Bill 230. I think it's about internet regulation. I don't know the bill in its entirety, but I don't know if
it's not the Twitter-based one, is it?
I don't know. You know what? I just don't know enough. I don't know. Well,
let's ask.
Yeah. I'm seeing the tower.
What? Give me the name of the bill again.
2:30.
Well, if you see the tower, it could mean that they vote. And they vote,
They could vote to overturn it or
yeah,
because it's change. The tower came to my head. I forgot to bring my cards downstairs.
there's gonna be some activity going on with internet stuff. And we're gonna be watching them closely.
Well, you got that. Is it the Hierophant?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the Hierophant.
Well, the Hierophant would be somebody who was in front of masses of people. So that would be it'd be something controlling or the masses of people would see. And you got the tower as well, huh? There you go. So that could be overturning it. And you got the swords.
Yeah. So if we overturn it, what happens?
I don't know.
Because this is like, a judgment made from some idiots,
Well,
some military kind of energy.
I mean, it's about internet something or another, but we shall see.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, Sandra, should we be concerned about North Korea ballistic missile testing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't think they'll use it on us, but they're just itching for a war. And I think they're going to start trying to help Putin. But the thing is that South Korea is starving. And so they don't really have all the
South Korea is starving?
I mean, North Korea. I'm sorry, North
Okay.
Korea. I'm sorry. I think North Korea is going to be helping Putin, but our people are going to be worried about that. But the thing is, a lot of North Koreans are starving, and so they can't even help themselves, much less Putin and Russia.
And apparently South Korea, US, and Japan have band together in joint air exercise to show strength.
Well, I think that there's some things in our arsenals that I think that they could come up with an anti-ballistic missile so they could shoot one down with another missile. So I'm sure that South Korea, United States, and somebody else are working in Japan. We're working together to keep North Korea out of their backyard.
You know what I just saw? Like a bunch of guns facing North Korea.
Right.
And they're just waiting. Make my day, sucker.
I see.
Because he does one thing that's untoward or hurts anybody else, he'll be blown out of the water.
I see a whole regime change coming in North Korea again.
Yeah.
And sometimes people stand up, and I see that in China too. People are going to start protesting more.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
they're dying over there.
I think the same thing that happened in the former Soviet Union when Mikhail Gorbachev came to power. He disbanded the Communist Party. I think at some point that's going to happen in China. And my feeling is we'll see it in our lifetime. So, anyway. All right, Terry Doherty. Hi, Mel and Linda. I'm from Pennsylvania and would love to know how you think Fetterman's clinical depression diagnosis will affect his ability to effectively complete the remainder of his term. Just because he has the diagnosis of depression doesn't make him incompetent to be a politician. I mean,
yeah, but he is struggling. He's struggling.
Well, I think part of his depression is due to the neurology of the stroke.
Yes.
But
they just need him on the right amount of drugs.
And
I don't see him serving his full term.
But I don't
see him needing to step down.
I don't think he's ready to give it up yet.
Not yet, but I do see him needing to step down.
But that doesn't matter because another Democrat will be appointed, I think, right?
Yeah, because there's a Democrat governor.
Okay.
In Pennsylvania.
You got one?
Where is Putin? Is he still alive? This is from Lily.
Obviously, he's still alive. I say yes.
Yeah, he's seething.
Oh, he's just as mad as a wet hornet. But,
yeah.
Okay, Le Mans girl. Hi, Mel and Linda. I met both of you in the Catskills last fall. Hey. I had an awesome time and learned many new things. My question is, we've already answered this. Will Marjorie Taylor Greene's ex-husband spill the tea on her?
Okay, yeah, we've already answered that.
Okay.
Pick another one.
Okay. Come on. Okay. Oh, this is be somebody asking just about President Carter's health for the rest of 23, but I don't think they probably knew he was in hospice when, I
Yeah,
don't know when this question
he's
was.
not gonna see 24.
No, he won't. So, all right. Okay. Crazy Shark 22. When do you see the broader economy improving and stocks returning to all-time highs? I think
Well, they're not falling too bad right now. But America is in debt right now. We have our credit cards up, and a lot of people are getting 30 days behind. So something's going on there. You don't like that.
Which brings me to my point. These Republicans in the House, many of them would not want to increase the debt ceiling because that's just to pay the bills we owe. And they'll do that. They don't care about the constituents. They don't care about the economy because if they don't vote to increase the debt ceiling, it can trash the economy. Then they can blame Biden, and that's exactly what they want to do. They want to sabotage things.
But they won't be able to blame Biden because it's as obvious as the nose on our face.
Well, to most of us, but they won't be able to do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look at gas prices have come way down.
Yeah.
And
well,
people,
not here, but yeah.
And people forgot that it was this war that Putin started that brought the gas prices up.
Yeah.
And everybody was not squawking about it then.
Yeah.
But they've come down significantly here. And, I mean, the economy's not all that bad. I mean, food prices are up, but I see those starting to come down too.
Those will come down for sure.
So, I don't.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Emmy wrote, my question is not political, but general. Why are so many people getting breast cancers? 1 in 8 women are now getting breast cancer.
I think it's the stuff they put in our food. A lot of the steroids and things like that trigger it. That's what I pick up.
There's hormone in food.
I laugh when you buy chickens at the grocery store and it said no steroids. I laugh because it's been illegal in this country for years to put steroids in poultry.
Oh, wow.
It's just a marketing ploy. The reason the chickens now are so big is because they give them antibiotics and it makes them get all plump. Unfortunately, the flavor is nasty. And that's why I think we have a lot of resistant bacteria is because they're putting antibiotics in everything.
I know.
And so that's why I try.
And they're feeding it to the cows. Yeah.
That's why, exactly. That's why I try to buy organic food. You can't get 100%, but every little bit, I suppose.
Right.
All right. G. Davis wants to know, Highland and Mel love you together. Thank you. Are there ways our sweet departed pets communicate with us from the other side? Absolutely.
Are there ways what?
Are there ways our sweet departed pets communicate with us?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
I was a witness to that, you guys. I don't see ghosts or anything like that. I've had some encounters, but my pet, Moochie, was here in this house when I brought Lulu home and walked down the hallway. I saw that dog and I was like, oh, Moochie, come meet. And then I realized, wait a second, Moochie's dead. And the dog disappeared.
Well, it was funny. My friend Marie, she had the dog Benny who passed away, but right before Benny died, he was only 6.5. He had sarcoma and they thought he had lived 3 months and he lived 1.5 years because of all the prayers and that everybody sent. But anyway, we evaluated him yesterday for Canine Good Citizen. And unbeknown to me, Marie's got a new dog and his name is Nico. He's only 4 months old.
I saw that dog, yes.
Yeah. So anyway, I said, Marie, why don't she's been working with him. She got him right before Benny died. I said, bring him over. Let's evaluate him for Canine Good Citizen. If he doesn't pass, you could just work on certain things. So she brought him over and she's been teaching him tricks and things. Well, he passed his Canine Good Citizen. I evaluated him. But unbeknown to me, it was almost like 6 years ago, on the very same day as yesterday, that Vinny that died took his Canine Good Citizen and passed.
Oh my gosh.
Now something told me, I was adamant about Marie. You got to bring him. You got to bring him. You got to bring him. He's ready. She goes, I don't think so. I said, no. She goes, no, I've never seen you this adamant. I said, I don't know why. And then after we evaluated him, she told me that her dog Vinny, it was the same date 6 years before.
Isn't that something?
So I was like, okay, Vinny, we know you're here. So they do like that, things like that. All right.
Lise wants to know, will Biden's student loan relief, will it pass the Supreme Court scrutiny in June?
If it doesn't pass in June, it'll go to the Supreme Court when there's more justices on the court, and then it will pass.
Okay.
I see a disappointment in June.
Okay, so it won't pass.
But just because it's a disappointment in June doesn't mean it's dead in the water.
Yeah.
Okay, SG wants to know, will the Iranian regime ever end?
Yeah.
Yes.
Go back to how they were back in the 70s.
Well, I think it'll be a democracy again.
Yeah.
I think the Shah was kind of corrupt before this regime took over. But I think people have had enough with the Ayatollahs and the religion and the theocracy, which is really occurring in this country as well. If you look at the ultra-right national Christians that support Trump, it's the same energy, just a different religion. But I see Iran having a democracy and free of theocracy.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay, Shar, who, if anyone, will challenge Biden in the primaries next year?
Well, if he decides to run, nobody will, right?
That's what I was picking up too.
I don't think so. Hi, Mel and Linda. Love it when the two of you get together. Always fun and zany things happen with you two. That's true. My question is, why did ETs allow us to bomb Japan with nukes back in the 1940s? Just need validation on the answer I received. I don't know what answer you received, so it's hard for me to read on what answer you got. I don't know if they had anything to do with it. I just don't know the answer to the question.
Repeat it again to me.
My question is, why did ETs allow us to bomb Japan with nukes back in the 1940s? She's talking about Hiroshima and Japan.
Well, that's the ETs really started to show up after that.
She said, just need validation on the answer I received.
The Galactica, that they all met after this and saw the destruction that we did. And that's when they started going, and there's all kinds of cases where they're over nuclear places, probably even in Russia, and they shut it down.
What was it?
And they're living in the water. Did you hear about those Russian divers? Mm-hmm. 9 huge 9-foot tall ETs that had this weird like plastic over their face, not the gear like what you wear to go underwater, came upon them. And they were just looking at them. And then some idiot decides to grab a net to capture one of them so he could take it up there to show everybody. And they did something, these ETs, that made them all go up to the surface. Well, several of them died because they went too fast.
You know, it's funny. I think about Einstein, and Einstein said, I don't know how the Third World War will be fought, but the fourth one will be fought with sticks and stones. He said that after, you know, with the release of nuclear weapons. So.
Oh, yeah. So in other words, we're going to wipe ourselves out, and then anybody left over is going to fight with stick and stone.
Left over, if anything survives, will be cockroaches.
Yeah. So Josephine, I'm going to say this out loud. You don't even have to answer this because it's absolutely no, and it's fake news. Okay. I don't think Josephine realizes it, but she heard it. She got scared. I just heard the Supreme Court is looking to reinstate 45. Can this really happen?
No, that's fake news.
It's fake news.
They have no power to do that.
No power whatsoever.
I don't know. You know, what's bothering me is the conspiracy theories on the left are getting as bad as the conspiracy theories on the right.
People sometimes write me some stuff and I'm like, whoa, why would you even believe that?
I know, I get that too. This is a good one by Roger Thornton, and I understand people's fear on this. That's why I brought up China helping Russia. This is good, Roger. Thank you. You know, and it's a fear people have. Please talk about the war in Ukraine. The reports I'm hearing is that the Russians are creating heavy losses on the Ukrainians and may very well win this war. And people
No,
are afraid of that.
no.
But I don't see Russia winning. Just you know, it's like
Ukraine has suffered heavy losses, but nope.
it was
They're
just
getting ready to get some jets. They're getting ready to get their tanks. Is it the Netherlands? Who's right up against Russia? Is it Switzerland or the Netherlands?
up
Who
against
shares a border with Russia?
Finland. I think
Or
Sweden.
Finland?
Finland.
They have somebody who's in charge there that is a beautiful woman. That she was on 60 Minutes last night. And she said, yeah, they're doing everything they can to make sure Ukraine has what they need.
You know, it's reminiscent of World War II when, you know, Hitler had a non-aggression pact with the Soviet Union with Stalin. And then he launched Operation Barbarossa. And what that was, it was an invasion of the Soviet Union. And it looked like Hitler was winning until they got to, I think, did they get as far as, not as far as Moscow? I forget what city it was, Leningrad or Stalingrad or one of them. But then the winter was so cold.
Yeah, right.
Forces weren't prepared for that.
Now, when did we come onto the shores of Normandy?
Oh, that was way later.
Okay.
That was toward the end of the war. But that's what changed the war, really, because Hitler, you know, it looked like he was going to storm through the Soviet Union, but because of that winter, and his troops weren't prepared for that winter, they suffered huge defeat.
Okay.
And so I keep thinking this thing, you know, for a while it looked like Hitler was winning, and for a while it might look like Russia is going to win, but they will not. I think the weather, I think there's a lot of factors that's going to go against Putin. And people in Russia are tired of this war too. They don't like Putin either.
Yeah.
So that's how I see it. Roger, that's a really, really good question.
Okay. Thank you, Roger. Vargas family. Will we ever get our 10-cent a bottle deposit back? I bet people would make sure and return them back to the store if their 10-cent deposit for their 10-cent deposit, because I feel ripped off by recycling the way it is now.
Well, in some places, if you take the bottles back, you do get money. I do see that coming back. You know, I remember years ago when I was a kid, you'd go to the grocery store and right in the front, there were all these bottles, those empty bottles, pop bottles that people would bring back. Because you get a deposit on them.
When we were kids, we used to look for them so we could turn them in.
Oh, absolutely. It was fun. So yeah, a degree of that, absolutely. That's a great question.
Yeah.
Okay. Ron Brock asked, thank you, Mel and Linda, for all you do. Do you guys see a certain network taken down by the Dominion and Smart Motive lawsuits? He says that would probably cool the temperature in our country. Oh, they're going to have to pay out big money.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Did you hear about those texts that the people at Fox were sending to each other about
Trump?
Trump?
Oh my God.
But yet
they were calling the people over with Trump crazy. These people are out of their mind.
Yeah, and you know what? But then they went on the air and reported just the opposite.
Because their numbers were going down.
Right. Well, what does that tell you?
Because somebody on Fox News reported the numbers and said that Trump had lost, and there was nothing here about stealing. Also, they failed to mention that Trump had paid $600,000 for an organization to check and see where the vote was stolen. They came back, they said there was no steal.
There was no stealing.
Even after that, that's when Barr left. That's when Barr said, sir, I can't help you. So then they said, the Fox News network, Tucker Carlson said about this woman who reported the truth, you got to fire her, and you got to fire her now.
That's right.
Think about our stocks. They're falling.
Well, but behind the scenes, they were the ones saying that Trump was a lunatic. So
is he, can I ask you something?
Yes.
So Trump, knew all this, but he's hearing about how Fox was reacting. Does
Right.
it affect him at all? Is he? Oh,
Well,
look, I got my Carrie Lake lens right now.
I see. Is there mayonnaise on that? Years ago, they do that put mayonnaise on the lens.
Oh, I always thought it was onion skin.
Oh, whatever it was. I've got it on mine too, but mine wore off.
You licked it off.
I licked it off. The
So
dentist told me I could.
yeah,
Speaking of my day at the dentist said,
right.
okay. I'm sorry. What was the question?
I think we answered it. It's just about what was going on with the Fox News.
Oh, got it.
Now, Kathleen wants to know, will Julian Sands be found? And I feel almost a no.
I feel a no to that too.
I feel he's dead. And I feel, varmints or whatever have picked him to death. Maybe a bone will be found, but poor guy.
I'm not feeling it. I mean, I don't think they'll find anything.
Wait a second. I think I see him. I see him where he's in, I can see his face. He's definitely dead, but he's in illumination right now. So are they going to find you, Julian? He just said no. And it's okay.
They won't.
It's okay, he said.
Okay.
Tell everybody I'm fine.
PJ Rademacher. Normally on this, when we're doing political world, we don't answer questions like this, but I'm going to take this one anyway. Hi, Mel and Linda. My husband and I are hoping to hear from my husband's nephew, David. He passed away last year in a horrific car accident in Idaho. He left a devastated wife and 5 kids. Oh my God.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, well, I feel his energy is around his wife and children, and I just see these angel wings surrounding all of them and holding them and protecting them.
Yeah. And he doesn't want them to remember him.
No, not like that.
Like that.
Remember him when he was alive,
Yeah.
But
and live in honor of his life.
I feel like he crossed really fast.
That's what I feel. And I feel a couple of people were there to help him too.
But they're going to start to hear footsteps, and there's the doors will close, and then there's something else I'm thinking.
He'll come in dreams too.
Almost the water dripping, something about water, and so he clearly is present. I'll bet he had a good sense of humor.
Yeah,
because I want to laugh. I mean, I get hooked into his humor.
Right.
And, he showed me a dog. So,
okay.
So whatever that means. All right.
Dolores says, what is going to happen with the Elvis Presley estate due to all the family drama?
I don't know what family. Well,
I don't think Lisa Presley really liked her mom that much.
No.
She looked at her like a cold fish. In fact, she might even been mad at her about leaving the father.
I'm sure that estate was set up in case of Lisa's death at something, wherever
it did, but she changed it.
Oh, she changed it?
She changed it to her daughter being the executor and taking care of her two twin daughters.
So then it'll go to her daughter. Well, her daughter.
Priscilla Presley is coming in and fighting it, saying that wasn't my daughter that changed that. Something's wrong with this paperwork. Some lawyer on some show said it might change back to Priscilla, but it'll take years.
I think with the Lisa thing, it'll stand.
Okay.
That's what I'm picking up.
Okay.
But Lisa's got kids too, right?
She's got the daughter who's an actress.
Right.
And she's got the 2 daughters that with this other guy who she couldn't stand.
But all of her kids must also watch their health, because coronary artery disease runs in their family. I think Elvis died of it. Elvis's mother died of it. And so it sounds like that they've got, the gene for coronary artery.
But also remember, none of those 3 people took care of themselves at all.
No.
His mother was an alcoholic. He was a big time drug user. And so was Priscilla.
Right.
I mean, not Priscilla, Lisa.
So they have to watch their health, really.
Mhm.
Okay, sweet and salty. This is a good one. Could you look at the future of Scientology? More importantly, their tax exempt status. Thank you for time and effort. Sending you both much love and gratitude. Well, they're not going to go away, that's for sure. I do think there's going to be some former celebrities that were in that organization that'll come forward and talk about a lot of things that goes on that might, that are problematic. But the problem with them losing their tax status, if they do that, then they're going to have to do that. They're going to have to tax all churches because Scientology is recognized as a church.
Yeah.
So, but
And did you hear how they got that tax status?
no,
Because they were harassing the IRS. They were calling their families. They were threatening them. They were so hard on the IRS. The IRS finally just said, fine, you don't have to pay tax.
my psychic light bulb just went on.
What?
I see a time when churches are going to be taxed.
I do too. It's because they're getting involved in politics.
That's
That's
right.
a big no-no.
They're not supposed.
But I think this guy that just got subpoenaed for child or human trafficking, Masivich or whatever his name is.
I'm sorry, say again.
That whatever the head guy of the church.
Right.
His wife has been missing, by the way.
Well,
This is going to, I threw on that, and this is the beginning of the end of the Church of Scientology.
I think there'll be
because he's going to go under, and they're going to find a lot of stuff, some ugly stuff, and before you know it, nobody belongs to that church.
I think there will be a few that'll hang on, but not like it is now.
Now,
But I still see churches being taxed at some point. And they should be. If they're going to get political, they should be. Okay, you got one?
Yeah. Janine, what happened to Finn Cleary of Ireland, who went missing on March 25th, 2022, after going for a hike and hasn't been heard from since? He wasn't the kind of person to leave his wife, daughter, and family without saying anything. Messages to him go unread. There has been no activity on his phone, and searchers have found nothing.
Who was it?
His name is Finn Cleary. Was
he somebody well known or?
No, he's just a guy that got lost, and I don't feel him alive.
I don't either.
He fell or something. That happens a lot. They'll take a tumble. And that's why he can't answer his phone, because he's it's probably dead and they can't trace where he is. But
the phone is not working now. The battery's down on it. So
no, he would have never left his wife and kids. He just said that to me.
No,
so tell them I didn't mean for this to happen.
There was no foul play. It just, I see it. I'm picking up a head injury. He could have fallen and hit his head. So, all right. Timber Voti Tyke, I think. Hi, Mel and Linda. I love you both and find great comfort and camaraderie when watching your show. Oh, thanks. Oh, this is a good one. Question. Is there a reason most psychics cannot see or predict their own future? I can't.
I can't.
I think because we live in here.
Well, the other thing, maybe we're too close to ourselves. We're not able to listen as carefully.
It's hard to make the discernment between
I had a dream that a bunch of doctors told me, we have bad news for you. And I was screaming in the dream and I woke up happy it was just a dream. But then right after that, I got breast cancer.
See,
so I'll get my future in dreams.
I've had that too. Like with my heart surgery, I had dreams that the family was playing cards. They wouldn't let me play. And I was upset, the family in spirit. And then when I found out I had to have heart surgery, I was like, oh, they're trying to tell me I can't play cards with them because it's not my time to cross.
Because it's not your time to go.
Correct.
But and listen, also, people want to get close to me, but the problem is if I become your friend and if we're close, it's hard for me to read without prejudice towards you.
That happens to me too. I mean, I can step aside from it, but it's still, but then a lot of people want to be our friends because they just want us to answer psychic questions for them too.
That I've had that too, but there's just some people that they have something coming up and they keep asking you, what do you think? What do you think? And it's like,
it's hard because
sometimes it's hard if I know maybe the answer isn't what they want to hear.
That's for me too. And so it's like, you know that they want to hear the positive answer, but if it's not quite in line with they're wanting, then it's difficult to answer, and it's like, whoa.
Listen,
And it causes a lot of anxiety, I think, for
I
us.
had a friend that I was friend with for several years, and she had this guy she was chasing after, and he never would spend the night, or he acted like a married man. And but she had been to his house. There was no female objects there. Anyway, long story short, one day I was sitting there and I realized I saw the woman around him. I said, there's a woman around him. Now, he wasn't like in love with her, but she was one of the reasons why he wasn't connecting to this girl. And so I saw it and I told her there's this other woman, she's around him. They hang out together. They do things every weekend. It's almost like dear friends, but it's a female. She was so furious at me. Like, I couldn't be a very good psychic because that's not true, but it was true. It ended up being true.
I've lost friends because, like if their parent was ill or something like that, they would call me. And, and I knew their parents too. And I was like, I didn't want it to happen. And it was like my own thinking. And I was like, well, and then the parent died. Our parents died, and then they stopped talking to me. It was like, well, it's not my fault. Yeah, but you didn't see it. Well, hello.
When we're close like that, you can't really read on it.
I know. It's like, but it causes a lot of anxiety on our part.
Yeah. When we stifle ourselves, we mess ourselves up because we don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. But there also is a way to only give good news.
That's true.
There's nothing wrong in giving good news.
Right.
At the end of the day, I can see your son is going to be glorious in everything he does. But right now, perhaps this isn't going to take place. But I read this woman, I told her she would get accepted to the police academy, and she didn't, and she called, she was all mad at me. I said, well, call me when you get accepted. And she got accepted. It just took more than once.
Correct. So sometimes we look at the end result on things. And so the timing, might not be this time around, but it could be, in the future, we're seeing the end result.
Yeah.
Anyway, your flowers are holding up really well.
Oh, aren't they? They're just beautiful.
Beautiful. Did you find out who sent them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gerard Butler.
I'm sorry?
Gerard Butler.
I know who that is.
Yes.
Yay.
That's my story and I'm sticking with it.
They're gorgeous.
And he asked me, what did the dentist say?
What did the dentist say? No sex for 3 months. Oh, I'm sorry. That was the doctor.
No, I went to my gynecologist and he said no sex for 3 months. And so he said, what did the dentist say? That joke is awful, but it's funny.
I'm going to remember that. I love that joke. Okay. Liz, we've got the giggles. Liz wants to know, will it be possible for the U.S.
Oh, by the way, time is passing. We do have a business meeting soon.
Okay, let's do this one. Let's do 2 more, then we'll go real quick. Liz, okay. Will it be possible for the U.S. House to flip to dim this year, in the next year or so?
Will it be possible for the Dem to flip? Yes, absolutely.
For the U.S. House to flip to Democratic in the next year or so. Yes, absolutely. I feel that too. All right, you got one, Linda?
Dear Mel and Linda, this is from Denise. You two are my favorite psychics. Thank you.
Thanks.
Just wanted to know, who do you see getting the Republican nomination to run against Joe Biden?
Well, it ain't gonna be
sometimes hard for me. Sometimes I'll get it right. Like I didn't even know it was Joe Biden until all of a sudden I saw that light around him. Because he was looking like a deer in the headlights at those debates.
It's not going to be Trump.
No.
I think Haley.
And it's not going to be Nikki Haley either.
No, but she'll get whoever it is to run for their money.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Satan will get it.
But the thing is, she won't get the Trump vote because she worked against Trump. That's the problem. That's why all those people are afraid. Trump holds 30% of the vote, and they need those.
Yeah, but there's the other 70%.
Well, most of those are Democrats.
I get it, but still, I don't know. I see somebody coming in that'll split the vote on the Republican side.
The other thing is that be careful what you listen to and be careful about those polls. Because I hate to say it, even my MSNBC, they'll use polls that make you worry. They'll use polls that make you think. But the other day they had one on where Biden was behind and Trump was way ahead. And I thought, what the hell? They got it from some hillbilly college in Missouri.
Right.
So it's like, no. Just don't listen to those polls.
Well, don't forget, those polls can change, and don't forget, they poll a small number of people. And there's another thing, when they say things like that, it brings people to watch their channel. So some of it is.
I'll tell you what got Biden in was that check. He was going to cut everybody a $1,200 check. Now he needs to do that again.
Right.
He needs to do that again. Okay, you guys, I started thinking about it. Y'all been broke. We're going to give you 2 G's a piece. He will go in like that.
And that's exactly what will happen.
Yep.
All right.
All right, my friend.
Okay. One more, Kathy Reagan's. My question is about the new incursion on Ukraine from the east, or from Russia. Do your guides see the war winding down in the coming weeks or increasing? I see it increasing, but the Ukrainians won't give up.
Yeah, it's gonna increase. Putin's coming down pretty soon. I can't quite. It should be by March, April. So.
Okay. Ooh, can we do this one? This one's good. This one's juicy.
Okay, but we're gonna be on in a business meeting in a minute.
Peggy Earhart. Okay. Any insight on how the lawsuit filed by American muckrakers against Lauren Boebert? They are suing her for libel, slander, and malicious prosecution. They exposed Boebert as having been a paid escort and having 2 abortions. The lawsuit was filed the first part of October 2022, and Boebert has claimed that none of that is true.
And who's she suing?
Somebody's suing her.
I don't get what the suit is about.
Somebody is suing Lauren. They're suing for libel, slander, and malicious prosecution. They exposed Boebert as having been paid, being a paid escort and 2 abortions, and the lawsuit was filed in the first part of October 22. Boebert claimed that none of that is true.
But I don't get it. I don't get why they're suing. You think she would sue them for malicious? Why are they suing her? Because she called them out, or?
It says, any insight on how the lawsuit filed by American muckrakers against Lauren Boebert will go? They are suing for libel, slander, and malicious prosecution because they exposed her as the things I just mentioned, but she said it's not true. So I don't know who's suing whom.
Yeah.
If it's against Boebert, it won't be in her favor. So that's all I can say.
Yeah, I almost feel like it's maybe even tossed out or something.
Exactly. Okay.
All right, my friend.
All right, sweetie. I'll see you in 20 minutes.
See you in 20 minutes. Cheers, you guys. I'll do a video today too. I got tons of questions.
All
Bye,
right.
you guys.